Hey y'all, it's Atiya here, and today we're going to be doing a self-care routine slash how-to tips on how to become the best entrepreneur you can be and start your own business. So let's just jump right into this. I've been so excited to get back into this YouTube thing. I realized that the thing that's taking me so long is that I've been procrastinating because I don't feel like doing the whole logistics with the lighting and the good camera and the tripod and all that stuff. So I literally am using my camera, my arm as my tripod, and this thing. Hope I didn't blind you guys just now. And I'm holding it because it's making my skin glow. But another thing that's gonna make my skin glow today while we talk is this clay mask, which will be for sale soon on my website, but stay tuned. That's a little sneak peek, so if you're watching this, woo, you know. If you're not, you're gonna find out in mad months later. Or if you ever see me looking down, it's just because I'm literally mixing my concoction. It's apple cider vinegar with my clay mask, and that's my boyfriend in the back, and my mom and my family. Okay, I put too much apple cider vinegar and now it's funky soup. Okay, so for those of you who know me, you know that I'm known as the girl who has 8 jobs at all times. And that stems from me coming from a very entrepreneurial family. It's literally in my genes. My great-grandma, my grandma, my mom, my dad, his mom, all people who were entrepreneurs or just very self-driven people who always had a goal in mind and always just wanted to do better and make better for themselves. So that's 5 people, all encapsulated into one Atiya. But with that being said, I know that everyone doesn't have a parent who's an entrepreneur or has experience being an entrepreneur. So that's why I decided to make this video. Starting your own business can feel really overwhelming. It can be really scary. You can talk yourself out of it several times, and there's always that one straw that breaks the camel's back that makes you like, fuck it, I'm just gonna work for myself. So here's how you do it. Tip number 1 is figure out what you're passionate about. So my very first business endeavor was when I was 4 years old. My mom had this annual barbecue, and she let me make these fans. I just was making them, I guess, and then she allowed me to sell them at the barbecue for $1. And so I made a lot of money for like a little 4-year-old, but that ended up turning into me doing larger projects with her. Like we'd decorate picture frames, or we'd make gel candles and wax candles, and eventually by the age of 13 I was a full-fledged business owner, like setting up as a vendor places. People knew me, people would support me. I had a savings account built up thanks to that. Actually, my savings account was the way it was because of my business when I was younger, and that's the reason why I was able to move to Atlanta at the age of 21. Tower Girl wasn't my only business. Well, that was the name of my business at the time, but I actually ended up retiring at the age of 13 and then coming back as a photographer in 2018, and that's when the Lens Goddess was born. And that was really born out of trauma and having one too many bad situations as a model. And I remember one time I went to this photo shoot and this guy literally kept talking about how flat my butt was. Like, that's really helpful and confidence inducing. So anyways, I bought my own camera. Well, actually with the help of my dad, he bought my camera, and we kind of did a barter for it. So one thing my parents have always taught me is 1, how to barter, and 2, like how to support your kids, because like not everybody has that, and I'm really blessed to have that. I'm really grateful. But with that being said, it doesn't mean that if you don't have supportive parents, you can't start your own business. So this is kind of going to be a dual thing where it's like, if you have money, great, this is how you do it. If you don't have money, here's how you do it. Long story short, I learned from horrible experiences and also just based off of what I was interested in. My last or latest invention for my businesses has been Ethereal Hair Growth Oil, which is my hair product. And I'm very passionate about hair. I've always been passionate about hair. It's always been my thing. Once again, it kind of runs through my family. My grandma owned a beauty salon. My mom worked in the beauty salon. So hair's just always been it for me. So that's what I was passionate about. So that was my first step, figuring out what I loved, figuring out what I needed. Sometimes it's what you need. Like, I needed a bomb hair oil, so I had to make a bomb hair oil. And like, I needed to shoot Pure the series, my web series, so I needed to get a camera and like have my own photography business and then make the money back that I was gonna spend on making Pure. So I kind of had a plan. Step 2 is really fun, and it can be kind of difficult if you're like me and you overthink and are a little bit nitpicky, but it's create a name. That's it. The name can be something that you feel like represents you. It can be a name of someone who's really important to you, that you want to dedicate that line of whatever you're doing, whatever service you're doing to them. Or it can be a descriptive name. Really just have fun with it and pick a name. Okay, so the next step is a not so fun step, and it's to figure out your budget or your expenses. I didn't really have a budget for Ethereal because I didn't really know how much it was going to cost me, but I knew that I wanted to make more money than I spent. So instead of coming up with the budget of how much I wanted to spend, because Lord only knows, I didn't really want to put a cap on it. I just wanted to figure out what was going to cost me to like make my money back. So for instance, with my hair oil company, I had to figure out how much it was going to cost for the bottles, the bottle tops, which are sold separately, packaging, the actual ingredients that are gonna go in there, the website and being able to sell on my website was an expense. So it's really about, it's trial and error, because not everybody's gonna have the same experience. If you're selling a service like photography, you won't have to figure out how much it's going to cost you to buy a bottle. You will have to figure out how much it will cost for you to buy a camera. And the other thing I want to mention is that you don't have to have money, like I said before, to start your own business. Creativity is what you're really going to have. And that means that even though you can't afford a camera, you use your bomb-ass iPhone or your bomb-ass Android. I don't really know if those exist, but shade, no shade. Next, you want to figure out what your branding is going to be. What font do you want to use? What colors are you going to use? Are you going to have a logo? What's your aesthetic going to be? For instance, for Ethereal Hair Growth Oil, my aesthetic is nature and palm plants and things that come from the ground, and just really like ethereal looking things and things that make people feel really light and really happy and really peaceful. Branding also helps you prepare for your next step, which is creating your social media. So you can't really have a social media without your branding first, and that's only because you have to post stuff on your page. If you're just posting like white pictures that say like, I'm a hairstylist, it's like, what's really setting you apart, you know? But if all of your posts are red in a specific font and have like a specific song to them, or like have your little logo at the top or whatever, you need something to post on your page. And if you're a hairstylist, for instance, you might want to just post pictures of your clients. It's a little bit, not easier, but and then say like you don't have clients. That's where my next tip comes in. Test your products, y'all. Like, as a photographer, I had to practice. Like, unless I just took classes, which was fine, but I'm more so, I learn from being hands-on. Like, I'm a hands-on learner, but I had to do a lot of free shoots. And even with my hair growth oil, I had to have my mom and my boyfriend test it out for me before, and myself test it out. But that also was good because it makes it known to the public that you're practicing your skill, or that your skill is reputable enough for somebody else to use it. So obviously my hair oil doesn't blow up scalps because I have these two people on my page that are rocking it, as well as myself, and I'm the creator. So I touched on social media before, but I feel like I need to do it again because it's a really important part about branding. So with branding comes social media. You want to make sure that you're on all platforms, even the ones you don't use, and that includes Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, YouTube, if you can. That's a really good one. But you just want to make sure that you're put out there as much as you can. If you're on Facebook, make a like page. Maybe even make a group. Shoot, you never know. It could be like, if you have a photography business like myself, you could do like photography needs, or I don't know, that's actually a good idea, and I might have to do that. Make a photography group. Like, if you ever need a photographer, hit me up in this group. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But anyways, brainstorm, like, but be on social media. You also want to make sure that your branding on social media is pretty consistent. You want to make sure that all of your posts are being spread around all of your social media. So if you post one thing on Facebook, you want to make sure that you're posting that same thing on Instagram. And last but not least, you want to make sure you're using hashtags and getting your followers up and doing a lot of follower engagement. But we'll talk about that another time when it comes to building up your Instagram. Make an email address. You cannot have social media, you can't have a website, you can't really have any proper branding without an email address. And that's how people can communicate with you professionally as opposed to them texting you or calling you, which is a cool way of doing business depending on the business. So you want to make sure that you create a very professional email. What domain you use, if you go through certain website builders, you're able to have, like, for instance, I can have shopping at loveatiya.com, but if you are not able to afford that, you can very easily get a free Gmail account, Yahoo, AOL. I feel like Gmail is the most professional at this point, and the most common, and the one that doesn't really shoot back your emails to you too much. But that's what I'd suggest. Another important step that we very often forget are business cards. They're actually very inexpensive. There are a couple of websites I could shout out, but I don't want to give them free promotion. So just Google them. But you want to make sure that you find somebody that's going to give you the quality you want, the customer service you want, and I guess that's all you really need for a business card. On your business card, you want to make sure that you put your business name, whether it be a quote or just a little bit about what you do or the services that you offer, your phone number or a Google Voice number if you don't want them to have your particular phone number or you don't want that floating out there, your email address, and your social media links if you want. When I say link, I just mean like Instagram / I guess your social media URL. Those are the most important things that every business card should have on them. If you can fit your logo on the card, that'd be even more amazing. But if you just put your name, that's fine too, or your business name. So I know sometimes some people need help with that and figuring out what to put. So that's my whole time. Last but not least, even though it's not really the last because there's an array of things to know about being a business owner, you want to make sure you're going out and you're networking. Network. Make sure you're marketing the hell out of yourself through word of mouth, handing out your business cards, taking people's phones. Well, not taking their phones because that's like illegal, but like asking people for their phones and adding yourself on their Instagram and then adding them back and then maybe unfollowing them later if you don't want to really add them back. It's fine. I mean, it depends on what your brand is. But anyways, you want to make sure that you're networking. And that is one of the reasons why I feel like I'm not as successful as I wish I was right now. And that's really because I've kind of become a recluse. And I believe that's because I did a lot of networking when I first moved to Atlanta. And I met a lot of sketchy, like grimy, disgusting, evil people, and I let that really deter me from meeting really beautiful, positive, like helpful and giving souls. So that's what I'm working on this year, is really going out there and networking, word of mouth, not being scared to talk about my product, not being scared to tell somebody I'm a photographer, not being scared to tell somebody I own hair growth oil. Side note though, don't mind my hair right now. I had to neglect it for a quick second because I was doing a promo for another hair company. The hair products that I used for the other hair company didn't quite appreciate or like my hair, and I couldn't even use my ethereal hair growth oil because I didn't want it to like give false positives. So I wanted people to see how your hair really is when you use the product, instead of like how your hair is when you use my product, because I wasn't selling my product. So anyways, long story short, that's another big lesson, like really promote your damn self, like really, but that's a whole other conversation. Long story short, stay tuned for my very next video because I'm about to do a wash and condition of this with my ethereal hair growth oil, and you can see how it's really supposed to look. But look at this length though. Before I go, I just want to include this quick tidbit. You don't have to have money to start your own business, which I know is freaking crazy. If you don't have parental support, if you don't have a great work ethic, because I know I was born with both. So my parents supported me because they saw my drive and they saw how hard I was working. So don't think that it was just any handouts, like my dad just buying me cameras. Like, no, I worked my ass off. And I was never really that kid bragging moment that was like, oh, I want like Gucci and Prada. Like, I was like, can I have some baby fat from the thrift store? Maybe like for $2. Really, like. So anyways, I say all that to say that when I was younger, I would work for my money and I would get allowance. And then with my allowance, I was able to put it in savings because my mom and dad motivated me to make a savings account. After I made my savings account when I was about maybe, I'm gonna say like 10, but it could have been before 10. I kept putting money in from Power Girl, my first business. And after a while, it just started growing and growing, but I never touched it. I tried not to dibble and dabble into it. Then when I moved to Atlanta, I was able to use some of that money to help me move to Atlanta. And that was super, super, super helpful. So what I will say is that if you don't have a savings account, if you don't know too much about financial literacy, which I'm gonna touch on with another how-to video, so don't worry, you have to work your ass off, and you have to prove to the universe that, like, this is what you want. For instance, with me, like, I knew that I could not afford certain things that I needed, so which is why I'm the girl with 8 jobs. And I have jobs for specific things, so I know, like, I might be a server and that might pay the rent, might not, which is why my bartending gig might help that. If that doesn't work, then I might have to get an acting job. And if that doesn't work, then I have my photography business. But then none of that is really guaranteed. So then I know that I do BA work, and that money can go towards my bills, or it can go to other expenses that I just haven't really included. Then I can get another brand ambassador job. That's what a BA job is. Okay, I went down a rabbit hole for a second, but my point is you might literally have to get a job to be able to support the launch of your new business. And it's just a sacrifice you're gonna have to make. And I feel like the difference between successful entrepreneurs and not so successful entrepreneurs are that there's a lot of sacrificing and there's a lot of determination. And you have to have confidence in what you're selling. So I read this quote one time, and it was like, if you're walking down a bread aisle, you're a bread maker, you can very easily get discouraged because there's so much bread out there, or you can be encouraged. Like, I love making bread, so I'm gonna make the best bread there is. There are about 100 brands of bread right here, but I'm gonna be the 101th, and I'm gonna be even more amazing than freaking Wonder Bread, you know? So it's really about that determination. I'm gonna leave you guys with this, and I'm gonna skip to the real exit trope that I originally created. My mom shared with me some very wise words one time. She was actually talking to me and my boyfriend, shout out to Jay, and she was saying that you can either struggle working for somebody else or you can struggle working for yourself. But either way, it's going to be a struggle. So why not struggle working for yourself, where at least you can have some kind of peace of mind? And that really resonated with us. Like, seriously. That shit is so true, because nobody feels like working for somebody else, so I might as well try my hardest to work for myself. Shout out to my mom. Make sure you support her business as well, imanijewelry.com. Okay, real extra. Outro. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I missed YouTube a little bit. No, I missed it a lot. I have a lot to say. I have a whole list of shit to talk to y'all about, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Love Atiya. Add my Facebook. That's it. Love you, Felicias.